All right, hey, it's Mike. I'm back. I'm going to talk about some Hare Krishna stuff. I'm going to explain some Rtviks shit. We're also going to go over I think we're going to do a little bit more of the Rupa Manjari uh, interview. So let's get right into it. I'm going to get right in. Look, everybody here, I can't believe I got Liam here. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you here. Let's see. Dahlia, Robert, say, hey, how you doing? Good to see. Good to see you here. Absolutely. We got Eliana, always giving me the Vandeham Srila Mukunda Das. Absolutely. Good to see you here. We're gonna have some fun today. And Fake Human. Awesome, man. That's my new name right there. That's my new name is Girl Dark Thoughts Meditating on Good Thoughts with Kiwi Ananda. All right. And so we're gonna get right to it. I'm excited about this because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. And we're going to do the opening.
Hello?
Hello.
All right. So thanks for sticking that out. That's always good when you're still here. And let's see, we got Fake Human back with the running after that Kiwi mess, the Robin George case. So where to start? You know, the Rupa Manjari thing, I really want to watch some more of that. So I think we're going to get into some more of that. But what I wanted to talk about, is how these Rtviks are continuing to promote this character in the Bangalore temple and on their webpage and in their videos. And he lectures and he does all this stuff. And these Rtviks, they support him. They don't seem to care. And I'm going to show you exactly how. If you remember, Bhakti Vikash Swami said that he's got to pal around with these child molester gurus because it says so in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 30. I think I don't know, 930. I think it is, and he's got to pal around with them. He's got to go wash their feet. He's got to do all that stuff. He says he has to. Krishna says so in the Bhagavad Gita. And so with this other character, this other guy, this is what Yasodanandan said about this other guy. I found it. I was looking for this a while ago, and I couldn't find it. And I finally stumbled upon it. And I'll show you. This is from when I worked on this webpage. I put this up on the webpage originally when I was at that time. And this is what Yasodanandan has to say about this. He says, to whom it may concern, the Sampradaya Sun on February 10, 2010, ran a story titled Bhaktivedanta Eco Villages, Tattva Darshan Das, Convicted Sex Offender. So this was written by Yasodanandan, and this is what he's saying. That the Sampradaya Sun wrote this article, Bhaktivedanta Eco Village, Tattva Darshan, Convicted Sex Offender. And he continues, he says, Hare Krishna Society was cited as a Rtvik reform organization. For the record, Hare Krishna Society has never been nor is a Rtvik reform organization. The mission statement and principles of Hare Krishna Society are found in the Srila Prabhupada's Siddhanta book, which I helped write, at www.krishnaconsciousmovement.com. Whether the original missionary institution of the founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Prabhupada is reformed or gets reformed in the future is not up to Hare Krishna Society, but up to Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and Krishna. He says, as for the activities of Tattva Darshan Das, it is our understanding that the trustees of the Bhaktivedanta Eco Village have commenced a full-fledged investigation to ascertain the veracity of the claims and allegations regarding the said Tattva Darshan Das. Well, let me just say this. You know who did a full-fledged investigation, held a trial? The authorities in Cambodia, the Cambodian police. They're the ones that arrested him. They investigated it. They brought charges. He went to court, and he was found guilty, and he was convicted, and he went to jail in Cambodia. That's the only real investigation that I need. That's the only investigation I need. It's not like every day they're picking up characters in Cambodia and convicting them of made-up child abuse charges and sentencing them unfairly to prison. If that was going on, the government, countries would be like, hey, Cambodia, what are you doing? Why are you locking up all these innocent people? And saying that they're child molesters. You can't do that. People would stop going there. Screw up their tourism. So, you say what you want about Cambodia, but you know what? When it comes to them arresting child molesters and child sex offenders, I believe them when they track somebody who's already had allegations. He's already been kicked out of ISKCON. He's already been accused of many things, and ISKCON doesn't want to have anything to do with him because he has been accused of so many things. And then he ends up in Cambodia, and he's arrested, under these circumstances with young underage girls. He has the investigation, a jury trial. He goes to court. And he goes to jail. So, he says, the trustees of the Bhaktivedanta Eco Village have commenced a full-fledged investigation to ascertain the veracity of the claims. So they don't think he's guilty of anything. Yasodanandan goes on to say, well, let me say, hey, good to see you. Glad you're here. Wow, Mike, love the new setup. Nice camera too. Looking good. Thanks, man. I really appreciate I appreciate it. It's not easy to get everything looking good, I guess. Let's see. Yasodanandan goes on to say, while there seems to numerous accusations, he can't spell, nor can he. While there seems to be numerous accusations, innuendos, and stories circulating on the internet regarding this individual, we feel it is prudent to wait until the responsible parties conduct their investigation and reach their conclusions. Well, what about the responsible parties in Cambodia that convicted him in however their legal system goes? What about that? They don't care about that. He's like, we're going to wait until we decide that he didn't do anything. We're not going to say anything. We don't want to say anything until we decide that he hasn't done anything bad, and then we'll come out and we'll make a statement. That's what he's saying. Hey, Jeff, good to see you here, man. And I missed Kooky Falcon. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you here. So this is what Yasodanandan saying. He's saying we're going to wait. While there seems to be numerous accusations, innuendos, and stories, he's not sure. Yashoda's not sure. He was kicked out of ISKCON for being a child for all the abuse alleged against him because ISKCON won't do anything about it. They just said, get out. They won't turn him over to the police or make any. They won't make. They won't. It's and go away. So, and then he gets arrested. He's sentenced to jail. He does a year in jail until his Rtviks buddies get him out. That's not enough for Yasodanandan. That's just not enough for these guys. He says, in fairness to the individual. Well, what about in fairness to all the victims of this individual and future victims and past victims? You didn't care about fuck them kids. Of course, Yasodanandan was the one who went to Prabhupada and said, can we beat this kid? We want to beat him. And he badgered Prabhupada until Prabhupada said, yes, you can beat him. That's Yasodanandan. He was like 6 foot tall, big hockey player looking guy. You know what a terror he was to these little kids? He was like the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk to these little kids that he wanted to beat. This friggin' guy who could play hockey for the Detroit Red Wings, he's asking Prabhupada, can I beat these kids? Hey, Travis, how you doing, man? Good to see you here. So he's already one who wants to beat these kids. And now when this guy, his buddy, has been accused of abusing kids, molesting kids, and he's even been to jail for debauchery with an underage. The guy's a friggin' sex offender. He's a child sex offender, this guy. Adjudicated and convicted. But to Yasodanandan, it's just accusations, innuendos, and stories. It's not nothing. There's no. How can we make a decision when it's just new accusations, innuendos, and stories, and the guy went to jail? You want me to pass judgment on that guy? He says, we feel it prudent to wait until the responsible parties conduct their investigation and reach their conclusions. Like there's nothing that's been concluded yet. Then he says, in fairness to the individual, it should be mentioned that he has rendered valuable service in the past to Srila Prabhupada by pioneering bullock cart parigram in the villages. Hey, hey, glad to see you here, man. I'm so glad to see you. Again, he did all this stuff in the past. In the past, he built Prabhupada's little stool. So go ahead, he can abuse all these women and marry a woman that's 45 years younger than him or something or whatever, and have a couple more kids. That's fine. He can abuse everyone and all this stuff. And valuable service in the past. So Tattva did some valuable service in the past. So now we can't do anything about it now. He's got a get out of jail free card for any abominable thing that he does. It doesn't matter what he does. Just like just like Tirtha puts 2 bullets in a guy's head, and hey, Bhagavad Gita says, Bhagavad Gita says, even if he shoots somebody in the head, you still got to worship this guy, wash his feet. In fairness to the individual. What about fairness to the victims? It's always the individual. It's always the individual. In fairness to the individual. In accusations, innuendos, and stories circulating regarding this individual. What about the victims? What about their stories? There wouldn't be accusations, innuendos, and stories unless somebody was speaking out. These victims, these kids and victims that come out and go, hey, this guy friggin' raped me, abused me. That's not enough for Yasodanandan. Well, don't expect him to give a fuck about kids. He wants to beat them. He didn't give a fuck about these kids. None of them give a fuck about these kids. They want to wait. Hell, you do some service to Srila Prabhupada, you can beat kids, you can rape kids. We won't forgive you. We don't care. He rendered valuable service, goddammit, and in the past, to Srila Prabhupada's mission, he pioneered a friggin' bullock cart parikram. This guy tied a cart to a fucking ox and pulled it around a village in India with some books on it, and now he wants me to get down on my knees and worship this guy. And if he molests some little kids, so what? He tied up ox to a cart and lugged it around. That's like a shopping cart, okay? In India, a bullock cart is just a big shopping cart full of books. That's all that is. So he just pushed a shopping cart around a friggin' village in India full of books. And you want me to feel sorry for this guy and whatever and give him a pass on abusing children? You gotta be out of your fucking mind, man. You gotta be out of your fucking mind. Fairness to the individual. In fairness to the individual, he has a legacy of pushing a shopping cart of books around Costco. So hell, let's all get down and wash his feet and then drink the water. The fucking insanity of this cult, man. I ain't making this shit up. Everything I'm saying is fucking true. They wash their feet, they drink the goddamn water, they think they're making spiritual advancement. They let these friggin' child molesters go. They don't give a fuck what anybody does unless you break the 4 regular principles, and I don't know. Justice for little girls. There'll never be justice for little girls in this cult. Not in this cult, there won't be. But yes, absolutely, justice for everybody. Can't imagine they left their family, jobs, and normal life for this. Cause they ain't put the dots together yet, and that's what Mike is for. Mike is for fucking connecting these goddamn dots that nobody seems to be able to see. These Rtviks ain't no better than the fucking ISKCON, and the reason they're no better is because of Prabhupada. They're all into this Prabhupada shit, fucks up their head. Rtvik, Shitvik, PISKCON, ISKCON, it doesn't matter. Narayan Maharaj, this guru, that guru. I don't give a fuck about these kids. I don't give a fuck about women. I don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves. He established a Bhaktivedanta eco-village to assisting to facilitate the ongoing school. This child molesters opened up a school. He has a non-stop funnel of kids that he can abuse. It's fucking sick. And he says, he establishing Bhaktivedanta Eco-Village and assisting to facilitate the ongoing school and Gurukula at Bhaktivedanta Eco-Village for the last 13 years. Well, yeah, where do you think the innuendos, accusations, and stories are coming from? From his goddamn school. These people are fucking insane. Yasodanandan is no different than Rtviks or any of these other fucking fucked up, fake ass, Madhu Pandit, all of them. All of them. He said, and then he says here, and this is fucking bullshit he says here. This is why I left. This is what made me say, well, fuck you guys. You're fucking son of a bitch. While Hare Krishna Society is not directly connected with Bhaktivedanta Eco-Village, we wish all devotees concerned the very best in their attempts to establish a vibrant Varnashram community in the sacred valley of Kutakakala on the banks of the sacred Chakranati. Fuck the kids. Has he said anything about anybody that was accused or who allege that this guy abused them? Did he say anything about what he went to jail for? Those girls that were abused? Exploited by this guy? As he said, while waiting in fairness to this individual, while we wait for the results of the investigation, we want to, extend our sympathy and empathy to any victims that are waiting for the outcome as well. Maybe he could say something about these victims, these allegations. I hope that these allegations are false, because if these allegations are true, I think about all these people that were abused, these children and women that were abused by this character. So, while we wait, I just want to say that anybody who's accused, I just hope that, I hope these allegations are not true, that this would be horrible that this guy was found to have done this stuff. This is horrible, nasty stuff that this guy's been. No, none of that. Hey, he tied an ox to a cart, pulled a shopping cart of books around a village. So we got to, fuck them kids that are saying that this guy abused them. Fuck them. We're too focused on that ox cart and his shopping cart of books. He says, finally, we should all remember the wise instructions of his divine grace in the Bhagavad Gita. Here it comes, the coup de grace, the cherry on top. Quote, sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically. But such a temporary fall down does not disquiet him. This is not a temporary fall down. How do you temporarily fall down when you're waiting for a plane to fly to Phnom Penh so you can go get a 12-year-old in some hotel, a massage from a 12-year-old girl in some hotel? That's premeditated. This is all planned out. He abuses these kids in his school, and when he's not abusing the kids in his school, he flies off to Cambodia or Thailand or wherever so he can abuse some young underage girl in a hotel room somewhere. How many times has he did that before he got caught? Evidently he did it enough times that they knew he was doing it. They set him up and they got him. You can't set up somebody who's not doing anything. They set people up because they're doing shit. They know. They know. They're not gonna lay a trap for me with some underage girls in a hotel room, and I never do that. They're waiting for me to go into the hotel it's never going to happen because I don't do that. No, they set him up because they knew he was going to do it. They're like, hey, we're going to put these girls over there, and he's like, oh, because he does it all the time. He wasn't suspecting anything. They're following him around. He was like on an international child watch thing. They don't watch people that are not doing anything. They watch people that are doing something. Like Ramananda Roy, taking him to a secluded place. Taking him to a secluded place. He didn't want anybody to see what he was doing. You're going to tell me, consciousness of guilt. I'm not going to do this right in front of everybody. I'm going to Cambodia. These are not temporary fall downs, man. But so he wants to mix up anything with everything, and make anything and everything can be something, or something can be anything and everything. I mean, if you have to forgive this guy and call it a temporary fall down, well then why did they kick the guy out that was smoking cigarettes in the ashram? Why isn't that a temporary fall down? No, they're like, you're breaking your vows. You're not supposed to. No, this is temporary. This is temporary. Yeah, when the cigarette, when I'm done smoking, I won't be smoking in the ashram anymore. Why not? That makes about as much sense. So, but such a temporary fall, back to this, Prabhupada, but such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down, but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, beautifies him and excuses him from that abomination. There you go. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. So, like, again, Prabhupada's talking about a fall down. He's talking about slipping up and instantly recognizing it and not doing it. You know, he not a continued accusations, innuendo, stories, years and years of accusations and stories, and going to Phnom Penh and getting hotels and being on a Interpol sex watch list. That's not a fall down. So I don't, Prabhupada might have a point. He's not talking about, well, let's see. Let's see. He says, no one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. For as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall downs will be stopped in due course, such as a devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. He goes on, he says, therefore a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness is engaged in the determination, with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen. The words Sadur Eva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly, even if he has fallen down accidentally. That's fallen down accidentally. That's not breaking your vows. We'll go back. Let's go back to this conversation that Prabhupada has with these two devotees. All right, they are engaged in Krishna consciousness. And you can actually listen to this. You can listen to this conversation. But Prabhupada says right here, okay, they're engaged in Krishna consciousness, these two guys. And he's saying, devotee 2, we are hoping that there are some things which can be improved because they have not been set up by you. Prabhupada. No, you cannot improve. Whatever we are, we are. Devotee 2. Why can we not improve it? Prabhupada. There is no possibility. Devotee 2. Then what is the use of action? Prabhupada. Action. Whatever action we can do by chanting Hare Krishna, that's all. Devotee 2. But we also have to make Varnashram society or farms or businesses to have Prabhupada. When we shall do, we shall see to it. Devotee 2, but we are doing it. We are. Devotee 1, we are doing it now, and that's the question. Prabhupada, so do it in your own way. Devotee 2, we don't want to. We want to do everything Krishna's way. Prabhupada, stop it. Stop it. I say stop it. You have come to me for my advice. I say you stop it. Devotee 2, then we say, what should we do? Prabhupada, you should do your business. That's all. Earn money and enjoy. Devotee 2, no, I mean, what should we do Krishna consciously? Prabhupada, you give up Krishna consciousness, I say, That is my advice. Devotee 2. Why should we do that? Prabhupada. Then that I cannot say. So these guys aren't even making an offense. They're not even doing something abominable. They haven't done anything. They haven't molested a child. They're advocating for women not to prostitute themselves. They want to make improvements because they feel that the leaders are not listening to them, and shady shit is going on. And no one is, and they are bringing up, they're not falling down. They haven't committed any abominable, they haven't abused anybody, they haven't raped anybody, they haven't beaten up any kids, they haven't done anything wrong, they haven't done anything. They're just challenging Prabhupada on what these leaders are doing. And how these leaders are fake. They're not listening to these guys. They're letting these women go out and be prostitutes instead of distribute books. They're not doing the right things that Prabhupada wants, and they've been complaining about it, and nothing's going on. They're not committing abominable acts. And Prabhupada is telling them, go. Just go. Just go. Go do your business. I say you give up Krishna consciousness and just go. Go enjoy. Go do whatever you want to do. That's what I say you do. So you don't think that when these guys, that if Prabhupada found out that this Tattva Darjan was running a school, Bhakti, and then goes to jail in Phnom Penh, and with all these things and everything, that he wouldn't tell him to just go? Go. Go do your own thing. He told these two guys, go. Just go. You finding fault? You got a little bit of hair? You want to know why why King Ugrasena had 4 billion servants and you keep badgering me about? Go. Just go. But Prabhupada wouldn't tell it a Tattva Darjan, a guy who's been to jail for molesting little girls, prostitution of underage girls. Actually, I don't know if Prabhupada would, because Prabhupada was into child marriage. But I don't think that Prabhupada would approve of one of his disciples flying off to Cambodia and then getting caught in a hotel room with some underage girls that are not his wives. Meanwhile, kids are accusing him of molesting kids in his school, in Prabhupada's name, in a Bhaktivedanta eco-village. Using Prabhupada's name, this guy's got a school where kids are saying that they're being molested. And Prabhupada would be fine with that? Oh, my disciple flew off to Phnom Penh, got caught in a hotel room with two 12-year-old girls, and he'd be like, oh yeah, well, he's saintly. He didn't even like these two guys. He was pissed off at these two guys. But you want me to believe that Prabhupada wants me to forgive Tattva Darshan character, or Kirtanananda, or Indra Yumna Swami, or any of these freaks molesting these kids? And you go pal around with them like Bhakti Vikash Swami and Yasodanandan are going to go pal around, and Madhu Pandit go pal around with you? Think Prabhupada will want these guys giving lectures in his temple, sitting on his Vyasasan, sitting next to his Murti? You think Prabhupada would approve of that? He didn't want these guys in his movement. You want me to forgive these guys? Yeah, somehow the karmis, most of whom would never do this stuff, are sinful and degraded, and devotees are pure. Exactly. Exactly. And then these devotees, and then the funny thing, you know what the funny thing is? These Hare Krishnas think that they're all, if Prabhupada hadn't come along, I'd be in a hotel room in Cambodia shooting up heroin, and I'd have like, underage girls and underage boys and maybe a couple of farm animals, and I would be doing, who knows what I'd be doing. You wouldn't have been doing any of that stuff. You'd be the same person you are now, just without all the Hare Krishna crap. They want to make it out like they were friggin' FBI wanted #1, and Prabhupada came along and saved them. No. Friggin' Donavir was playing volleyball. You showed Nashringananda was going to UCLA, was going to film school. These guys weren't anything special. That's like me saying, I wasn't doing anything. I was looking for a guy I was looking to buy some pot. That's what I was looking. I heard this. I heard you got some pot in there. You know that. But all these guys. I was doing this. Oh man, I was doing this. I was doing that. Prabhupada saved me. Saved you from what? It probably didn't save you. He turned you into a freak. He turned you into somebody that you would never have been. He turned you into a friggin' Nazi. A racist, sexist, homophobic freak. Pedophile. A guy who says that someone... Henry Dorktorsky saying, I would have shot the guy in the head too. We were all pretty crazy. New Vrindavan, hey, we were all, I would have done it too, You wouldn't have been thinking like that before Prabhupada came along. You wouldn't sit there going, in my college days, we used to sit around and talk about killing people, going around and killing people. No, when you get to New Vrindavan, and it's like murder becomes a party. You guys are all celebrating. And the guy got shot in his van in L.A., and you're in New Vrindavan going, oh yeah, Hare Krishna, yeah, we took out the demon. Yeah, they're fucking insane. That's the same mentality that lets Tattva Darshan go and you kill a guy who's just in his van. You guys going around killing a guy in the van because he's exposing people like Tattva Darshan. Meanwhile, you're saying on the internet that people like Tattva Darshan have to be excused. But the guy in the van, no, he doesn't get excused. He doesn't get excused. Salochan there's no excuse for Salochan. Salochan gets murdered by Tirtha and Kirtanananda and whoever else was involved. There's a bunch of people involved in that shit. That didn't happen by one guy. Bullshit. Those murderers are still out there, and they're still chiggy and bumpity bumpy bump and running around, and they know who they are. They know who they are. Throughout the years, I kept hearing the same rhetoric from devotees say that Prabhupada saved them, that they're all brainwashed to think that their lives before Krishna consciousness were crap. Yeah. Simultaneously, this is the paradox. Half of them had something awesome going on, and they gave it up. I was going to be in a rock band. I was going to be the volleyball superstar of UCLA. I was going to hit home runs at the Dodger Stadium. I was going to go, I got a scholarship to here. I got a scholarship to there. I was going to be this. I was going to go to UCLA and be a film director. I was going to be Steven Spielberg. I was going to be, right? That's half of them. Half of them had this great big thing they were going to do, and Prabhupada came along and just snatched them right up. And then the other half, well, they were the wretched, disgusting, I was on Skid Row, I was doing drugs, I was shooting this, and I was shooting that, and I was just jamming drugs right into my neck, and I was robbing banks, and I was Billy the Kid, and I was Bonnie and Clyde, and I was in Haight-Ashbury, and I was out of my mind. I was taking LSD every day, and I didn't know where I was. I was just, and Prabhupada came and he snatched them up. So you have these two competing magical mystery tour. You had the ones that were like, they had no idea what was going on. They were right on the precipice of fame and stardom. They were going to be an Academy. I was going to win my Academy Award. I was going to win my Grammy. I was this close. And Prabhupada snatched me up. And then the other ones were just, they were this close to dying or going to jail. And Prabhupada snatched them up too. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Fucking amazing. It's friggin' amazing. Like, none of them were just normal people that just got conned into this cult. You got conned. We all got conned. Some of you are still in it, conned, and you're still in it. We got conned into it. That's it. We were lied to, and we made bad decisions based on faulty information. That's it. It's like you think you're. It's no different than if you think you're signing up to win a free dinner, or you're signing up to win a free whatever, and next thing you know, they're trying to sell you a timeshare. They're trying to sell you some contract to do something, and you just thought you were getting. I didn't know I was doing it. These things on the internet. It's like it's no different than the Nigerian prince. Send me $1,000 and I'll send you $1 million or whatever. But most people are smart enough to see that. But when they go like, hey, we got this book. It's 5,000 years old and it's a Vedic tradition and Vedic. People aren't smart enough to know that that's a scam. And it's 5,000-year-old, and it's a sampradaya, and it's a skampradaya, and it's a parampara, and it's a this, and it's a bhaktivedanta that, and it's a bhaktivedanta school, and bhaktivedanta. They can't recognize that scam. They can recognize the guy on the street corner with the 3-card Monty. They go, that's a scam. I'm not playing that. But they can't recognize the guy with the ponytail walking around with the books going, hey, you like John Lennon? I got a John Lennon book, whatever. And that's the evil, disgusting thing, is that it's a fucking dangerous cult. People being scammed into it. We got scammed into it. Why have there been no devotees who claim that Prabhupada saved them? There have been devotees that have said that, well, Skid Row, specifically Skid Row, I don't think I've heard that one, but I've heard the down on the luck, he saved me, otherwise I would have ended up, who knows where I would have been, such a horrible, wretched person. I would have been the head of the Hell's Angels, or I would have been, robbing banks and running drugs, and I would have been, bringing people across the border from, who knows what I would have been done. I would have been in a speedboat running drugs with Miami Vice. I've heard people talk like that's what they were doing. Like I was just so, Prabhu, if you only knew what I was doing. I was like, I was horrible. I would have been, I surely would have been, I'd be dead if it wasn't for Prabhupada, absolutely. I've heard so many of those story. This is such bullshit. But you can see that Prabhupada Prabhupada was ready to kick these guys out. He was ready to kick these guys out. So don't tell me that I have to forgive Tattvadarshan. I don't have to forgive him. Nobody has to. Krishna's not saying you have to forgive these abominable people. You want to think that. Prabhupada wants you to think that. Prabhupada didn't give a fuck about these two guys. He was like, there's the door. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. I say you give up Krishna. Why he's telling someone give up Krishna consciousness? These are his disciples that he initiated. He's telling them, I advise you to just give it up. Go. Go. Get out of here. He's tired of it. You want to hear that shit no more. He's like, yeah, you're always bothering me with this shit. You didn't tell me that. Yasodanandan saying, if one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then he is disobeying the order of the Supreme. It's accidental fall down, not this premeditated breaking of the vows. Breaking your vows and pretending like Sudam, running around like he was a swami while he's trying to have sex with anybody he comes in contact with. His personal servant, what was called a young boy, this young boy. I didn't say he was underage boy, but he was a boy. He didn't say young man, he's a young boy. So it just, is that accidental fall down? Is Sudam running around trying to have sex with every guy he can come in contact? Is that an accidental fall down? Or is that disobeying the order of his spiritual master? Is that breaking your vows on purpose and covering it up? Like Rtviks, like Bhaktividya Purna Swami, all these guys. These are not, first of all, they want to mix up their abominable activities and their behavior, their breaking of vows and hiding it, continue 13, 14 years of this type of behavior. They want to call that an accidental fall down. You're doing something for 13 years. You're doing something for 6 months. It's not an accident. An accident is you do it once and you recognize that you did it and you stop doing it. If someone cheats on their girlfriend, if a guy cheats on his wife or cheats on his girlfriend, guy cheats on his girlfriend, guy cheats on his wife. One time. He goes to the store. He's going to the grocery store, and he's shopping in the store, and one of the women that work there pulls him into the stock room, and before you know it, they're having sex, and he's like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, and then he's okay. And he leaves. Okay? That's kind of like an accidental accidental cheat. He accidentally cheated. He didn't go to the store to meet this person. He didn't really stop it. He probably could have stopped it, but he didn't really stop it. He was like, oh my goodness. Oh, ooh. And then he goes back and he goes, oh man, I just cheated on my girlfriend. I just cheated on my wife. Right? That's an accidental. I was kind of like an accident. But if he's having an affair with that woman at the store, and every Saturday he's doing it in the stockroom with her, and it's going on for 6 months, and he's hiding it from his wife, and she's hiding it from, that's not an accident. That's just not an accident anymore. Now, of course, he's going to say it, but he's like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's kind of it was an accident, and I kept doing it. So, I was really that's not an accident anymore. So they want to say that these guys that are molesting children, that they've been caught molesting children, they've been molesting children for who knows how long, and they want to call that accidental fall down. They want you to treat that like, well, that was just an accident, you know. Hey, don't get mad at him. This is not an accidental fall down. These are not accidents. This is knowing behavior. This is predatory behavior. This is molester behavior. This is consciousness of guilt. This is felony child abuse. This is no accidental anything. Even Rtviks, you know, he's having adult consensual sex, so there's no crime there. But that's not an accidental fall down when you're doing it for 6 months and hiding it. But they want to treat him like he had an accident. Oh, Rtviks just had an accidental fall down, so now he's in Juhu Beach and everything's okay. He can give a lecture. He can do all that because that was just an accidental fall down. No, it's not an accidental fall down. Rtviks is a scammer. He's a fraud. He's a fake. He got away with it for 6 months, and he's still getting away with it. He got away with it. He don't give a fuck. And fuck them kids and fuck that woman. What does she get out of it? Accidental fall down my ass. So he says, and the word mantavyaha is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee of his accidental fall down, then he is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. See? That's what I was saying. If it's an instruction for Bhakti Vikash, then it's an instruction for all of us. If Krishna says we have to, if Bhakti Vikash says, well, Bhagavad Gita says I have to forgive these child molesters, then he's saying we have to forgive them too. Accidental practitioner. Exactly. I'm an accidental practitioner. Common sense, analytical and logical reason, as well as having first-hand experience of how ISKCON really is, was what saved me, and I left for good. Many devotees are brainwashed still. It said, yeah, they can't connect the dots. They just don't see it. Well, they don't want to see it. You know, you got to remember what Knitting Cult Lady says. We buy into it. They've bought into it. So they're not going to come to their senses until they want to, because it's self-regulating, self-indoctrination. We allow ourselves to become infected with this virus. That's why there's nothing you can say to get someone out until they want to listen and get out. There's just nothing you can do. Because we allow ourselves to do it. That's why all these new people, they're like, what can I do to get my friend? My friends just got in, and my boyfriend just got in, and my girlfriend just got in, and I don't know what to do. They're acting all weird. There's nothing you can do. You can show them, you can tell them, you can say, watch Mike's video or read this or that. But until they want to come to their senses, they're not going to do it. It's just not going to do it. Not going to do it. So they want us to think that we're obligated, or devotees are obligated to forgive these things, and they're not. Now, if it's an accidental fall down, that's one thing. That's an accidental fall down. Accidentally. He says the only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. Bhagavad Gita 9:30. Sincerely yours in Prabhupada's service, Yasodanandan Das, President of the Hare Krishna Society. So right there, That letter right there tells you that these Rtviks, they think exactly the same as Bhakti Vikash. We have to forgive them, even if they do abominable things. We're obligated to forgive them, pal around with them, go to their farm, go to their Vyas Puj, go to their Guru Palooza, whatever it is they want to do, it's perfectly okay. It doesn't matter if you're an ISKCON or if you're a Ritvik. They believe the exact same crap. Molesters are okay. And so, of course, this pod guy still promoting Madhu Pandit and Tattva Darshan. This was posted on November 30th or December 1st. He's still promoting Tattva Darshan and Madhu Pandit. He's also commenting on Rupa Manjari. And he's attacking Narayan, even though Narayan is gone. He's calling out Narayan as being a anti-pod, so he's going on this whole rant about Narayan, and how he's a predator and he's a this and he's that, and he adds them to the list of all these people that hate him, and so now it's Narayan is with the same people who is he abused all of this stuff, even though, like I showed you, Yasodanandan and Pod, they're friends with Narayan. But now that Narayan is gone, Pod's going to speak out against Narayan and say that, well, Narayan hated you. Yeah, he probably did hate you, because everybody hates you. Nobody likes you. You're a fucking dick. What's there to like? But you're a lying piece of shit because you're still promoting Tattva Darshan on your webpage. You promote Madhu Pandit and the Rtviks and Yasodanandan and all of these guys who pal around with Tattva Darshan. Meanwhile, you sit here and you talk about how you're into protecting women and protecting children, and here you go right here. He wants to criticize. He criticizes everybody. Oh yeah, for many years these Yadu Bar guys, he doesn't want to. These Yadu Bar guys have been promoting their homosexual and pedophile messiahs project. So first of all, he equates homosexuality with pedophilia. They go together. It's homosexual and pedophiles. They're the same thing. They're half a dozen of one and six of the other. Homosexuals, pedophiles, homosexual gurus, pedophile gurus, same thing. Which bans, beats, and molests, sues, and kills Vaishnavas left, right, and center. Well, but those are your people. Those are your people. He says, generally, devotees focus on their own spiritual progress and have their society's children worshiping homosexuals and pedophiles as their messiahs. Well, you're sending people to Madhu Pandit's temple where Tattva Darshan is giving lectures. How is that any different? How is that any different? How are you protecting children when you're sending children to Tattva Darshan and Madhu Pandit and promoting Tattva Darshan's Gurukul school, where he runs a school for children and lectures at Madhu Pandit's temple. And Madhu Pandit has his holiness or his grace, Tattva Darshan, whatever. The fuck? How are you protecting anybody? He's talking about this new lawsuit, the Children of Krishna organization, the ISKCON CEO Naveen Krishna Das, and doing the Office of Child Protection and with Dira Govinda, and he just goes on and on about the children and this and that. And meanwhile, he's got no problem with Tattva Darshan. And Yasodanandan's got no problem with Tattva Darshan. The fuck is wrong with these people? So on one hand, he's going to sit there and talk about Rupa Manjari and how we need to get behind her because Narayan was this horrible person who abused women, and he was a serial abuser, and all of this stuff that he's now on and on about. Someone told me that Narayan and his golden body of ISKCON idea and blah blah blah, and worse, the Hare Krishna Jaipur Mathura Padi guys have been citing Harasari and this golden body of ISKCON with Narayan, and he goes on and on. And Auschwitz for kids and Auschwitz for kids. Well, what about Tattva Darshan's Auschwitz for kids? What about Madhu Pandit hanging out with Tattva Darshan and promoting him on his webpage, promoting him on his YouTube channel? What about that? How hypocritical can you be? How hypocritical can this guy be? Meanwhile, this guy's never done anything for any kids. He just talks about what other people has done. He's talking about Narayan as a psychopath, an abuser, and many other abusers, and citing others to help the abuser agenda. He's got a lot of nerve. He's got a lot of nerve talking about that. And I just want to get this up here so anybody who's never been on here before will know what I'm talking about. So here's the Bangalore YouTube channel, the Struggle for Truth. This is Madhu Pandit's page. And let me show you this. So this is Madhu Pandit's page. And when you go right there, the first video you see is Tattva Darshan. And you see all of Madhu Pandit's people there. You see this Amiyatma and Chanchalapati, and then you get Madhu Pandit down here giving lectures. But why do you have this convicted sex offender right there? Why are you promoting this convicted sex offender?
Used to go and hook up with Radha Damodar everywhere.
So in Bangalore, there was no temple that time?
In Bangalore, there was no temple. Bull Temple Road had
Who cares what he has to say? This guy's a disgusting piece of shit. Why would you promote this guy?
been closed.
Which temple?
Bull Temple Road, Hare Krishna
In
Road.
Bull Temple.
Yeah?
Hare Krishna Road, which is there.
Yeah.
Why? What is the point of this? How are you going to sit there and talk shit about Narayan while you got this guy, while you're promoting, at the same time you're promoting this guy? "100% correct, Mike. Many had become self-indoctrinated via the brainwashing methods and social media influences as well." Yeah, it's unless you're tied to a chair and being forced. All brainwashing is self. We allow it. It's self-indoctrination. It's the peer pressure. It's all of those tactics working. But we allow them to work. We little by little, but it can happen quickly over, very quick. And you still have friends who are 45, 55. Yeah, I know. It's so sad, so sad. Look at this guy. This guy is not even able to recognize that
Bull Temple Road, that Shiva Temple.
This guy's not even able to recognize that he's an abuser. He's an abuser guy. He's been to jail, and this Hare Krishna hasn't done anything for him. It hasn't changed him. It hasn't made him holy. It hasn't made him stop being an abuser. It hasn't made him stop doing anything that he's ever done. It doesn't do anything. If the chanting really worked and did anything, he wouldn't have gone to jail in Cambodia. None of these guys would be abusing any children. This is a bunch of bullshit. And they know it, and they can't face it because they're so fucking brainwashed. It's disgusting. And if anybody can become like this, or become like any of these guys that are defending this guy, like Madhu Pandit, nobody would defend this guy. If you were working again, if you were working at Jack in the Box, and this guy came in, he was started working there, and they're like, he's got this horrible past, but we're gonna let him work here, and we know kids come in here and buy food, and they come in their family. We got a play area and everything, but we don't think that's a problem. You'd be like, what are you talking about? This guy's a child sex offender. He's been convicted. He's been to jail. We don't think he should be around kids. And if they insisted on it, I guarantee you people would quit. They go, we're not going to work in a company that allows this convicted sex offender who's not supposed to be around children to be around children. And you're not telling anybody he's a convicted sex offender. You're not preventing him from being around children. You're putting him in charge of the play area where children are. What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? They don't do that here. They don't do that here. That's what I was saying when I was at the LA Temple and I was talking with Swavas. He's acting like nothing. Like why would you call the police on this guy? I'm like, he molested my daughter. Yeah, but you don't call the police. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't call the police. We don't do that. Well, then that makes you a friggin' accessory after the fact. You're covering up for the guy. If you know the guy did something wrong and you're not calling the police, come on, man. That's insane. This guy doesn't belong anywhere near kids. ISKCON, they don't care about kids. Rtviks don't care about kids. And this pod guy don't give a fuck either. If this pod guy gave a shit about kids, he would be speaking out about this Tattva Darshan guy. He'd be saying, why is he at Madhu Pandit's temple? He'd be yelling about Madhu Pandit. He'd be adding Madhu Pandit's name to the list of names of people that are evil and horrible. No, he says, let's see what happens. But Madhu Pandit really needs to finally take the gloves off and go after these guys. He's on Madhu Pandit's side. He wants Madhu Pandit to sue these guys or win this lawsuit or whatever it is. He's all in for Bangalore and all of this stuff. He doesn't speak out against Tattva Darshan. I feel the same here. If it wasn't for this cult, I would probably had a better life, a good paying career, and a marriage with kids. Yeah, I lost 20 years to this cult. 20 good years. I was 31 when I joined this cult. I was 51 when I left. I could have done a lot. 20 years is a career at something. 20 years is a career at something. And if I had stayed, I would have been in the Hare Krishnas for like 35 years. I'd be a Swami. I'd be sitting on a Vyasa somewhere giving a lecture about this crap. Bunch of holy secrets, man. Puranjana won't speak out about this Tattva Darshan guy. Excuse me. Yeah, they won't. He won't speak out about this guy. He'll speak out about Narayan. He'll speak out about all these other guys, but he won't speak out about Tattva Darshan. And if he does say anything about Tattva Darshan, he's going to say what Yasoda said. Oh, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's not a pedophile. The girl was 12. She has to be 11 for it to be a pedophile. He was set up. It was all set up. He served his time. He served 1 year. He served 1 year. That crime in the United States would give him like 7 to 14. If he got caught in the United States, he'd get probably 7 to 14 years for what he got caught with naked in a hotel room with a 12-year-old girl. He's going to jail for 7 to 14 years if that had happened in the United States. And then he'd have to serve a third of that. So a third of 14 years. I'm so bad at math, but he's looking at like 4 years or something. 3-4 years before he's even eligible to get out. He did like 1 year. He did like 1 year in Cambodia. Now Cambodia, but anywhere is rough. I'm not saying he doesn't get no time served. Fuck him. The guy's a child abuser. He's a predator. He's got a school. He's got a school where he can abuse kids. I don't feel sorry for this guy. I don't feel sorry for him. I don't feel no respect for him. The guy's a fucking cosplaying, disgusting, degenerate piece of shit. That's what he is. And all of these guys that are sticking up for him, Yasoda and Pod and Puranjana, whatever he calls himself, and Damagoj and all of these pricks and Madhu Pandit and Chanchalapati and all of these fuckers, man, they're no different. They're no different than Bhakti Vikash Swami. And I've been saying that from day fucking one. It ain't no different. Bhakti Vikash Swami said the same thing that Yasoda said. Yasoda, Puranjana, Jittarati, all of these guys, they're all the fucking same. And that's what I told him. I told Yasodanandan to his face. I said, well, not to his face, I told him over the phone. I said, why should I be a Rtvik when we're no different than ISKCON? You guys protecting pedophiles no different than ISKCON. Why should I be a Rtvik? You're doing the same thing. You making excuses, you palling around, you go party with them in their farm, you go travel around India with them. Why should I be a Rtvik? I thought I was a Rtvik because we were like, we didn't do that shit. And they still doing it to this day. Can't let this guy go. Can't let him go. There you go. What can you do? I molested some kids. What can you do? Fucking disgusting. So what else we got? I got some more stuff. I got. All right, let's get to this. Let's get to Where is? I want to check out a little bit more of Rupa Manjari. Um, let me see. Okay, so we wanted about 30 minutes of it before, a good 30 minutes at least. Oh yeah, okay.
Your intelligence means we are discriminating, and that I couldn't get away from, and was, you know, in a highly conscious gardener's garden.
Why is that? The role of women in the Krishna
Okay, here we go.
consciousness community.
Let's hear what she's got to
I
say.
can tell from your own social media that you've been, I'm sure, for a long time, a strong advocate, a strong voice for women's rights, women's equality, and women's voices in the Hare Krishna movement. Why is that? And why do you feel that you have to continually bang the drum for women's inclusion? You know, it's an obvious question, but why do you? So why do you do it, and what inspires you to carry on doing it?
Why is very simple: to protect innocent women who are beautiful inside and out from being manipulated, exploited, and destroyed pretty much in the name of God consciousness, which is what happened to me. Like I went completely crazy for a number of years after the end of my marriage. Like I was homeless. I was, you know, wandering around completely crazy. Like you know.
Okay, so she says at the end of her marriage, she was wandering around crazy. She went crazy for a while. You know, and I understand. I believe her. I believe her. You know, she was traumatized, but yet she's still in it. She was traumatized. She went nuts, but she still believes in it. She still believes in it. She still has the beads on. She still talks like she's in the cult. There's nothing's changed. But she hasn't been able to figure. And she went to school for psychology. She hasn't been able to figure out the cause of all this. What is the cause of this mental illness that you were suffering from? What's the cause? Was it Narayan? And what was it that he was doing? What influence was he under that he caused you so much mental duress and mental illness and all of these things? She hasn't been able to figure that out yet.
I know what I was doing. And if I had been protected, truly protected, not fake protected, but actually protected, like a rose in a highly conscious gardener's garden, how much I could have done for myself and for the world.
She doesn't understand that there is no protection for women in Krishna consciousness. You're under the protection of your husband, and when you have a husband like Narayan, and whatever comes. This guy's not gonna. What do they want you to do? Put a security guard in your house in case your husband goes nuts, which he is, because it's a friggin' abusive cult where women can just be smacked around whenever they want. You can beat a drum, you can beat a dog, you can beat a woman. She hadn't figured that out. I know she's heard all this shit. She's heard all this shit, and she heard it from her husband. But she doesn't believe it. Narayan's the one who told her that he can beat her. I can beat you. Prabhupada said, I can beat a drum, a dog, and a woman. You know he said that. You know he told her your brain is small. You have a small brain. He told her all that shit. Because they all believe it. She can't figure it out.
And for my children, you know, like I lost many years, many good years that I could have been doing many great things because I was living.
Welcome to the club.
Inside of a box of a psychopath, literally a psychopath. I'm not saying that as a.
Literally a psychopath. She's talking about the guy that she was just glorifying and telling him how great he was, how he did so much service, and he did this, and the mantras, and oh my goodness, what a great guy he was. Meanwhile, he was a psychopath.
Exaggeration. He was actually a psychopath. You know, I saw it firsthand and behind closed doors, like living with a monstrous beast that I
A monstrous beast.
couldn't get away from, and was, you know, raped by in every sense of the word for a long time. And because of that, like, that's why Prophet says a woman enjoys being raped. He's right. I enjoyed.
She believes it. She believes that women like to be raped. What is wrong with her? This is the insanity. We're getting to hear it firsthand right here. Everybody, hey, breaking news. They can brainwash women into believing that they like to be raped. Let's play that again. Play the clip.
Closed doors, like living with a monstrous beast that I couldn't get away from, and was, you know, raped by in every sense of the word for a long time. And because of that, like, that's why Prophet says a woman enjoys being raped. He's right. I enjoyed being flattered and manipulated into thinking I'm some special person or whatever, which was the rape itself. It was through flattery.
This woman is gone. She's gone. This cult and Naranarayan and Srila Prabhupada combined. Srila Prabhupada and Naranarayan destroyed this poor woman. Just destroyed her. For her to sit there and talk about that the real rape was raping her mind with these thoughts, and that Prabhupada is correct, and how she liked being manipulated into believing, and then being. This woman her brain is gone.
A woman thinks it's love, or she thinks it's attention, or she thinks it's adulation, or that she's hot, or that she's desirable or something. No, she's being taken in.
She is apologizing for Naranarayan raping her repeatedly in every sense of the word, because it's coming from Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is correct that women do like to be raped, because she understands it, because she was raped by Naranarayan, who was a psychopath and abused her. And does any of this make sense? Does any of this make sense? And this guy's sitting there going, yeah, okay, sure. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a good one though. Yeah, there you go. You know, this where's my
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
It's not funny, because you can see how she is so messed up in the head and she doesn't even know what she's saying. She's trying to justify the abuse that this Naranarayan put her through, that made her go crazy, that gave her mental illness, that caused her so much pain and suffering. She's trying to excuse it and blame womanhood. That women somehow it's not Prabhupada or Naranarayan's fault. It's her fault. And I don't know what the fuck she's saying. I don't even want to back it up.
Under control of a man, and that's if the man is good, then it's good for the woman, because a woman's nature is to be uncontrolled. So to be controlled by a good man is good for her. But if she's controlled by a bad man, then she takes on.
So how do you know who the good man is? How do you know who the good man is? When you surrender your control to Naranarayan, obviously you thought he was a good man. Turned out to be a bad man. She's saying I gotta surrender to the. If I surrender to the good, well, yeah, of course you're gonna have a happy marriage if you marry the right person. Marry the wrong person, not a happy marriage. I mean, come on, Rupa, Manjari. Not hard to figure out. But you know what? If you're not under the control of a man and you marry the wrong man, you can get divorced. You can leave him. You don't have to stay married to him. You don't have to endure years and years being brainwashed into thinking that you're making an offense, or that because this guy built a stool or he put a hooked up ox up to a fucking cart so he could pull books around, that makes him something special. They ain't special. They're not holy, man. They ain't fucking shit. And when a guy beats you to death or whatever he did to you, raped you repeatedly and tortured you and was psychopathic, well, evidently he did something to you, and you still think he's some great fucking guy, you got problems, man. You're probably more fucked up than Hot Lips. And I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be mean, because she's a victim. She's probably the worst friggin' victim of this cult. That I don't know. The woman that got married at 13, raped and married at 13, and she is fucked up too. That is fucked up. But she seems like she got a hold of herself and she overcame that shit, and she's like on, she works for betterment of women's conditions and society, whatever. She's, for against child marriage. She's doing all that. She's still trying to fix ISKCON. I want to help. Fuck ISKCON, helping women in ISKCON. The only way you can help women in ISKCON is get them the fuck out. But if you're sitting there still making excuses for this bullshit, sitting there talking about Prabhupada was right, Prabhupada is right, women do like to be raped, well, Prabhupada was right, you can smack a woman. What the fuck? This woman is insane.
That negative perverted energy, and it makes her bad too. She becomes bad too. That's what happened to me. So yeah, and that's why I'm
So she's victim. She's blaming herself. She's blaming herself that this Narayan and Prabhupada exploited her, abused her, manipulated her, all based on Prabhupada's teachings from Prabhupada's books. You think Narayan said anything that wasn't coming from Prabhupada's books? And she can't figure it out. She's like me, trying to figure out why the Rtviks are supporting child molesters. Like, how the fuck? She's trying to figure, like, why the fuck are women being abused? Well, you know what? Open up one of Prabhupada's books.
I'm giving the warning to women. Like again, Prabhupada said, surrender by your intelligence, don't surrender your intelligence. So
she's like, I want to give a warning to women, and then she quotes Prabhupada like that's gonna help anything. You want to help women by bringing them into a woman abusing cult. You're trying to attract women into a cult that you know is abusive and that you suffered at the hands of this shit. My head is blown. I mean, I knew she was still in it, but I didn't. Hearing her talk like this about women, like Prabhupada was right. Women like to be raped. Yeah, Prabhupada was right. Women do have small brains. Yeah, Prabhupada was right. Men do manipulate women. Prabhupada was right. All of these things, and yet she doesn't have the sense. She doesn't have the sense to recognize how damaging that is, how dangerous that is. She believes all this shit. Women are lustier than men, 9 times lustier than men. And I'm going to tell you again, it's 9 times. It's 9 times. Women are lustier than men. Women are Maya. You take on the qualities of your husband. Who told you that? Oh, because Narayan was a perverted friggin' grooming creep. 70 years old, he's luring 20-year-old women to his ashram on Jefferson Boulevard. You gotta give me a fucking break, man. I knew the guy was creepy. I had no idea he was that creepy. I had no idea he was this creepy.
like we must look at Krishna consciousness and know where. Yeah. Okay.
She's having a hard time trying to defend this. You can't. You can't look at the abusive cult and try and figure out how to normalize this abuse. This you can't criticize this cult for abusing women when it normalizes it, and then you're like, well, why is this violence against women and all this stuff? Why is this so normalized? Well, because Prabhupada, this is what Prabhupada says. This is what he's teaching. God damn it! Seriously, man? She's a victim, but how can you be so dull in the head to go through all this abuse, and then look at the abusive statements of Prabhupada and question, how is this possible?
Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah. Basically, I know personally many women who are beautiful inside and out. And I've named many of them in my posts who were used, abused, and totally discarded by men in ISKCON in the last 50 years. I've heard stories that are absolutely horrifying. Horrifying.
So what do you think? Do you think that all of these horrible people came into ISKCON, or did just normal people join and ISKCON turned them into these horrible people? Let's analyze that. Do you really think, what are the chances that so many horrible people join this cult where you have to shave your head and recite these things and change your life and do all that? People don't need to do that to be horrible people. You're going to be a horrible people. You don't have to do anything. You can just go be horrible. This cult is teaching this stuff. It teaches them. It teaches them to forgive, and it teaches them to be abusive. That's what makes it so dangerous. That's what makes it so sinister. They got her. This cult and Narnarayan and Prabhupada has got Rupa Manjari blaming herself for all the abuse that she's had to endure. And she still can't figure it out. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I know you're late to the party, but I feel like I'm just getting into it. I do, man. She's got me pissed off, man. She's got me pissed off. And she was a beautiful young woman when I knew her, and she'd come to my house and she was just like so happy. She was Hare Krishna and she was playing the drum and she would chant and she'd sing and she was like so happy to be a devotee and be happy in this, this so-called spiritual life, like a lot of us were at one point. And she was definitely like that. And to see her now, like I said, this cult just chews you up and it spits you out. Like it did me, like it's done to so many people. And it did it to her. But she got spit out, but she's gone back for more. She's not done yet. She's like, I still need to endure some more abuse. I'm not done being abused yet.
And just like what happened to the children, the Gurukulis, the women and the children were massacred. So the reason I do.
So she recognizes that this cult destroys people. And it's destroyed her. And she's still sitting there talking about, Prabhupada was right, and, Narnarayan was a great guy, but he was a psychopath. On one hand, he was a psychopath, attempted murderer. But on the other hand, he was a pretty cool guy. He was, what can you do? What can you do? You got to take the good with the bad, Sometimes they're cool, sometimes they're a murderer. Hey, what can I say, This is the fucking insanity, man. Insanity. Straight up insanity.
What I do is because of what I know that has been told to me privately by survivors and relatives of survivors who took their own lives. There have been many suicides, particularly in the Gurukula, children who absolutely shattered by what happened to them as kids. And by the way, this is a worldwide problem. It is not just in ISKCON. The Catholic Church has institutionalized child sexual abuse.
It's a worldwide problem. We know that. The reason why it's specifically a problem in ISKCON is because Prabhupada has it in his teachings. And you guys don't report abuse to the police. In fact, Rupa Manjari, you're guilty of that because you lived with this Narayan. You were married to him for so many years, and you never spoke out about him abusing you. While you were enduring years and years of abuse, you were telling us how great he was. I had no idea he was abusing you because you were telling us he was just the holiest, greatest, most devotional, most sincere, most everything. Day after day after day, you would just post on the internet and emails about how Narayan was just so great. And I understand if you were like, you had to write that, otherwise he was going to beat the fuck out of you. I understand that. But, what I'm saying is you're one of the ones that you're describing was having there's a problem in ISKCON today. And what you went through is going on today. Exactly the same way it happened to you. You're brainwashed. You're brainwashed into not recognizing it. Or you're brainwashed into excusing it. Or you're brainwashed into accepting that it's from Prabhupada. You're accepting that it's from Prabhupada. You're accepting his bullshit. And since you can't blame Prabhupada or blame Narayan or whatever, then you're going to blame yourself. I'm a dumb woman, and I was being manipulated and exploited. And I know there's all kinds of abuse and all kinds of shit going on, but I'm too dumb to understand it. That's it. I'm putting in English, like special English. I get this done in 10 minutes. I don't mean any offense to you because I know you're a victim and you're messed up. You're messed up. And this guy ain't helping you. This Narada, he ain't helping you at all, man. I knew Narayan and his kids mainly and never liked him. His stupid guitar. I had no idea he was so sick, though. I saw her a couple times, too, at least at the time. She was very wacky. Hey, yeah, you knew his stupid guitar. Are you talking about the guitar that I made that I made out of the Rath Yatra cart? Are you talking about that guitar? Or are you talking about that stupid little one that little traveler guitar? Because I made I made a guitar and I gave it to him because he liked it, and I was like, he liked it, and I said, and I guess he helped build the cart, so I guess he helped build the cart that I made the guitar out of, and I said, here, you can have it. Yeah, I said you can have it. I'm no guitar maker, but I made this guitar. It was a real guitar. It was a real guitar, and it played. And he played it, and he liked it. He's like, hey, man. And when I would see him, he's like, hey, I play that guitar. I love that guitar. She was not mentally healthy when she joined. There are stories I won't go into. Yeah, she told the stories on here. Yeah, and that's the thing is that these guys are manipulative. And Narayan manipulated her. She was talking about this other girl. I'm sure he manipulated her. She was seen as way too volatile to be in ISKCON. I'm sad by what happened to her. She was vulnerable, and he took advantage of her. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I know she's a victim, and I feel bad that she was, and I feel bad. But the way she's talking and all this is like she needs help, man. She needs help. She needs help. She needs therapy. She needs to get into therapy. She needs to confront all this stuff. She needs to confront all of this stuff about the being in a cult and an abusive cult, a high control group. She needs to understand what this is. She doesn't understand anything about what's going on in her life. And she's being exploited, and it's continuing, and it's going to continue. And this guy is exploiting her too. And I'm on here showing her video, so I'm exploiting her too, I guess. But if you want to look at it that way, you know, I want her to get help. I'm not here to, you know, I'm not here to I'm not here to do anything but that. She needs help. You know, in fact, when I first started watching this video, I had no idea she was so damaged. You know, I didn't, because she seemed normal when I knew, although I never talked to her. She'd come to my house, but I never had a conversation. She's married. I don't talk to her. But she seemed normal and she seemed happy. And that's why I was so shocked when I found out about all the abuse and this and that. It was horrible. But she needs help. She needs help like Hot Lips. She needs help like Hot Lips. She needs therapy. She needs to confront this. She needs to understand that these teachings are abusive. These teachings are what's led to this, and it's led to her feeling shamed and being guilty for it and being responsible for all of this and for being a woman and all of this. Her head is messed up. She's one of the most messed up people I've seen that I've done a video about. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've done quite a few of these videos, and she is really in bad shape. She's really in bad shape. So I did that one. Here we go. I can't handle this. I can't handle it.
Not only of your country or our country, it is the solution for the whole human society. And I told that as there are different divisions in the same body, the head, the arms, the belly and the leg, although the body is one, but there are different parts for different functions. Then the body is going nicely. The head is the most important part of the body. So, head is not in order, then in spite of presentation of other parts of the body, hands, legs, the body is useless, just like a madman. Madman, the brain is not in order. Therefore, despite the presentation of the hands, legs and other things, it is useless. Similarly, the human society should be divided
Got to pay the bills. There we go.
into 4 classes according to quality. Not everyone is on the same level. So, even for material purposes, there must be 4 divisions. First class, second class, third class, fourth class. Means the definition of the first class, find out. This is the definition of the first class man.
So what Prabhupada's about to say is that men are like the head and women are like the legs, basically. Or women and men are not the same. They're not equal, as the title says right there. He says women are not equal to men.
Exactly the same example. That is the different parts of the body, the brain, the arms, the belly and the legs, all are in order. the bodily function will go on very nice. This is natural.
Where do women fit into these four classes?
That I already explained. Women's position is subordinate to man. So, if the man is first class, the woman is first class. If the man is second class, the woman is second class. If the man is third class, the woman is third class. In this, because woman is meant for assisting man. So, the woman becomes suitable according to the man or husband.
Okay, so there's your answer, Rupa Manjari. Oh, my evil twin. Get rid of him. So there's your answer, Rupa Manjari. You marry Naranarayan, well, then that's your problem. That's what Prabhupada say. Your status in life is determined by who you marry. So you marry Naranarayan, then that's what you got. You marry a psychopath, now you're married to a psychopath. You marry fourth-class husband, and you're a fourth-class wife. You marry first-class husband, and you're a first-class wife. Now you see how this doesn't work? That's why you end up with Naranarayan. Arranged marriages, child marriage, having your parents pick out the man for you when you're 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years, 15 years old, 16 years old, and you end up with Naranarayan and there's nothing you can do about it? There's no divorce in Prabhupada's. He can leave you and you go be a widow for the rest of your life. There's no remarriage or any of that. You don't understand how this is bullshit? Rupa Manjari, you can't figure this out? It doesn't make sense to you? That what the bullshit that this old man's saying is just doesn't work?
Would you say that women are inferior to men?
Yes.
Why?
By physiological condition.
She said she would do it all again to get Naranarayan's DNA. Like, what? It's at 28. Yeah, I know. I went over that in my other one. In part one, I went over that. And I explained, just like in my case, I love my daughter. She's going to be 40 years old. I spent 40 years with my daughter, watching her grow up into this, beautiful young woman that she is. Middle-aged woman. And if I had to do it all over again, I can't imagine living my life and not having my daughter in my life. So if I had to live my life over again, I would want my daughter in it somehow. So, I would do it. I would do whatever it takes to get my daughter, because that's all I can picture. That's all I know. So I understand that she's like, I love my son, and if I had to do it all over again, I would want my son. So I understand that, but she's nuts, okay? She's straight up nuts. As far as that, because she didn't say. This is what she should have said. Look, Naranarayan is insane. He's a psychopath. Tried to kill me twice. He's a serial abuser. He's abused every wife, every woman, every child he's ever come in contact. He's been abusive to them. But I love my son, and I would want my son in my life, but Naranarayan is a piece of shit. This and that, whatever, and then I would just leave it. I would leave it at that. I want, or not even bring it up. I would not bring it up. I'd say, well, if push comes to shove, I do want my son's. If I could get some of his DNA, I don't know. I don't know what, I never have to see the guy. I just like do a swab and I did the DNA. I can understand. I can understand that sentiment, but I don't understand her glorifying the guy. I don't understand her talking about how great he was and how he could chant mantras and he did this and he did that. Like he's some holy man. These guys are not holy people. They're not anything. Nothing. Zero. Big fat zero. You did nothing. She can't see it. She doesn't get it. It does not get it. Nothing ever works with this kind. Rtviks Bangalore. Nothing. It's all bullshit. So here, he just said that women are inferior. Women are inferior to men.
Your bodily features are different from the man's features. You cannot deny it. So according to the bodily features, the psychological condition and everything is there.
So Prabhupada is making the assumption that because men and women have different bodily features, that women are naturally inferior to men. Because one of his 900-year-old storybooks, fairy tales, tells him this.
How you can deny it?
Do you think that I am inferior to
That
you?
is not the question of inferior or superior.
Yes, it is a question of inferior and superior because that was the question that was asked. Probably using some kind of mental Jedi, some kind of Jedi mind trick to say that that's not the question. This is not it's not a question of inferior. Yes, it is. It's what she said. Do you think that I'm inferior to you? She said, are women inferior to men? And he said, according to the bodily features, yes. And then she said, do you think I am inferior to you? And he said, that is not the question of inferior or superior. Yes, it is. Prabhupada wants to turn the question. He wants to decide what the question is. So now he's saying, you can't even define superior or inferior. That's up to you. So now he wants to just muddy the waters altogether and put it back on her. Like, well, what you call inferior may be superior, and what I call superior may be inferior, and who knows? Who's to say what's inferior or what's superior? I'm saying they're different. Well, difference doesn't mean that one is subordinate to the other or that one is inferior to the other. That wasn't the question. And even he says spiritually, but he still makes a distinction between men and women, even spiritually. Because if they were equal spiritually, then having a material body would be insignificant. Because they would be on the spiritual platform, which he claims to be. But he's not. He's on a material platform. He's just talking a bunch of goop. Because he actually says that women are inferior based on their bodily concept. He's full of shit, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you dice it, slice it, anything. Probably sounds like such a scholar, know-it-all piece of work of the devil. You see how he's trying to trick her up because that's how he tricks up all his disciples. It's not a question of this or that. Well, yes, it is. That was the question. That was the question. Feature gymnastics. Yeah. Yeah. she thinks he has magical DNA because his kids are all gifted artists. If she needs help. She needs help. Probable fraud playing mental gymnastics. Yeah, he's got wait, let me flip over here. Let me flip over there. Wait a minute. You will never catch me now. Isn't it disgusting that she still believes in him having some kind of magical DNA? Yes, it's more. It's probably something he taught her. Yes, absolutely. I'm sure it's something that he taught her. Oh my goodness, it gets crazier and crazier, like Alice in Wonderland. Crazier and crazier. Let me see. What do we got here? So here we go. Here's another example of crazy. This is kind of like spinning the wheel without the wheel. Let me see if we get the wheel. I already know what I want, but let's just is the wheel up here? Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Give it a little spin. Whoops. Wait a minute. Let me give it another spin here. Oh, look who came up, our buddy Madhupanit. Not really though. Oh, 2 in a row. Wow, okay. All right. Well, anyway, that was our wheel. And let's see if we can get over here to this nut. Okay. This guy's got something to say about. Let me see. What does this say? I wouldn't be surprised if he was also a racial supremacist from the Jewish Zionist angle. He would talk about his heritage sometimes as if he was from a line of Old Testament prophets. Yeah, Narnar, I was from the tribe of Zakheim or whatever. It was from the tribe of Zakheim. Madhu Pandit. But no, we're gonna listen to this guy for a second. Here we go. We got this guy. Let's hear what he has to say. Let me see.
If we can chant money, 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 we can go on all day and night, but money doesn't come. In fact, it'd be better, if you want money, it'd be better not to chant money, 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 and do something by which you can earn some money. But chanting Krishna, 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 because Krishna's name is non-different. We can chant water, 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 water. We'll get more thirsty, not less thirsty, by going on chanting and chanting and chanting. But if we chant the names of Krishna, because Krishna's names are non-different from him, then we get Krishna. Krishna nam hoite pabe.
Oh, then we get Krishna. We get Krishna the same way we get the money. When we chant money, 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 and money doesn't come. And we chant Krishna, 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 but Krishna doesn't come either. Just like that idiot was chanting Nrsimhadev, and he got stabbed in the heart. He got stabbed in the heart because he was dumb enough to think that Nrsimhadev was going to save him. That somehow, if he chanted Nrsimhadev like Prahlad Maharaj, that Lord Nrsimhadev was going to come out of this from wherever, and he was going to save him from getting stabbed in a knife fight. So he went into a knife fight chanting Nrsimhadev prayers and got stabbed and killed. But this guy wants you to think that, oh, you chant money, 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 no money comes. But if you chant Krishna, 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 Krishna comes. This is the delusion of these people. And he's going to sit there with a straight face. He's going to sit there with a straight face and say this about chanting money or chanting water and no water comes. But I can chant Krishna and Krishna comes. You sit there with a straight face. It's insanity, absolute insanity. What a load of bullshit! He just defeated his own logic. I know, and he posted that this makes sense. He's no different than Gaurahari, and there's no different than Rupa Manjari. She's so mentally confused. She doesn't know what she's thinking. She doesn't know what's right or wrong. She doesn't know if Narayan is a psychopath or somebody that she needs to be glorifying and washing his feet, even though he's passed away. And the same thing with this Bhakti Vikash. He doesn't know if Tattva Darshan should be worshipped, if he should be rejected. He doesn't know if chanting money and chanting Krishna is completely confused. Totally confused. No clue, these guys. What else I got here? So I did find a video. So look, any of you out there, any of you people out there, if you want to learn, when you're reading Prabhupada's books, and he's talking about Vedic culture, or he's talking about the Vedas, and you don't know what he's talking about, so I'm not going to watch this whole thing because I'm already at my limit, but I just wanted to show you that you can go online. This wasn't available when I was a Hare Krishna, when I was getting into it. This shit was not available. But it's so easy now. You can go online and you can find.
He knows a lot about all kinds of stuff. Professor Dave explains. So far in this series, we have been focusing on a particular region of the world, but the Indian subcontinent was the site of one of the three earliest civilizations of the Old World, along with Mesopotamia and Egypt. Unlike the other two, it already had a settled agricultural society by around 9000 BCE, but like Mesopotamia in particular, it eventually featured fortified, independent city-states that had trade relations and a common culture, which shows itself in their art and technology. Unfortunately, we have no texts that would tell us about their history or ideas, like we do for Mesopotamia and Egypt. Therefore, we must try to learn what we can from the impressive material remains they left behind. This Indian civilization, which was entirely unknown until the 19th century, is generally referred to as either the Indus Valley Civilization, after the region in Pakistan and India where it was based, or as Harappan, after one of the 5 sites where the remains of large cities from this period have been found.
So the Hare Krishnas and a lot of Hindu nationalists or whatever, they like to use this as evidence of the Vedic culture that is found in the Vedic scriptures, and they use this as evidence of a Vedic culture. This was not a Vedic culture. This was just an ancient civilization. They didn't have any writing. They didn't write anything in. There's no Vedic scriptures. There's no Vedic writing that they've found. They haven't found anything like that. They've found remnants of a civilization. They found ruins and they found artifacts, but nothing that points to any kind of Vedic civilization. Vedas came later. The Vedas were written later, and this guy explains it all. He goes into it really well. So he explains about the Indus Valley civilization, which a lot of people want to say, well, what about that? That was Vedic. No. He goes on and he explains.
They supported themselves by growing grain,
how they lived.
Want to learn how to clone yourself to make talking head content like this without actually filming
more
anything?
commercials.
All you have to do.
Dates and cotton. They also kept livestock and used tools made of stone as well as of metal like copper and bronze. The materials as well as luxury.
So they know about these people. They know about these people. They know what they've done, what they did, what their life was like, what their daily life was like, how their civilization operated. They you know, these archaeologists who study these things, they can figure out a lot of stuff. You know, they don't have it all written down. They don't have it all figured out, everything. They don't have all the answers. But they know that this was no Vedic civilization. Has nothing to do with the Vedas. It has nothing to do with anything that's written in anything that Prabhupada talks about. No Maharaj Pariksit, no Sukadev Goswami, no sages on the banks of the Gandhari or Saraswati or whatever, Ganges or whatever. None of that. No Mahabharata war or whatever. Now there were wars and there were kings and there were things that went on. And if you watch this guy's videos, he'll explain a lot of stuff. It's very, very interesting stuff. He explains quite a bit. I watched one video and then I went back and I was trying to find another one. But I just want to let people out there that want to know more. You can find out a lot of stuff, especially now, like on YouTube and on the internet. You can find out, you know, when you read stuff in Prabhupada's books, you can go and find out what he's talking about. You know, was there a civilization 5,000 years ago that was like what he explains? No. Was there this? Was there that? Was there writing? Was there all of these things? You'll find out the truth. Is the Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years old? No, it's not. Is the Bhagavatam 5,000 years old? No, it's not. There's a lot of things you can learn and find out. You don't have to just read it in Prabhupada's books and take it as facts. You can actually learn from people who know, who study and do these things. That talk about ancient civilizations and migrations of people and archaeology and ruins and experts in ancient writings and actual Vedic scholars and all of these things. There's a lot of knowledge out there, you know, and it's not karmi knowledge or, you know, it's the deep demonic scientists that want you to believe this, and Krishna hid all the real ruins and he's just showing you the ruins that he wants you to find. It's just crazy. I've heard so much bullshit from the Hare Krishnas as to why we can't find anything from this time, from what Prabhupada's saying. Why can't we find this and why can't we find that? And then, you know, you go to India and you go, oh, well, let me show you this Krishna's footprint in a rock. And then they show you this rock where this thing kind of looks like somebody carved a footprint in there. And then they go, this is Krishna's footprint. You're supposed to believe that. But anyway, you can actually go and you can research this stuff on the internet. It's interesting stuff. You want to learn about real Vedic. They don't even call it Vedic culture. They call it the Vedic period. There was no culture. There was no Vedic culture. They call it the Vedic period, which is a certain period of time when the Vedas were written. But that doesn't mean that everything that Prabhupada says in his books, with the Vedic culture that he says, with flying airplanes and flower airplanes and who knows what else he's talking about, that never happened. But if you want to learn about the Vedas and what they are, and when they were written, when they were really written, and who wrote them, and where, and all of these things, you can do that. You can go and find these videos on the internet, and there's a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. So you don't have to just take one guy's word for it. You can go and you can see that, you know, well, all of these people are saying the same thing. There was no Vedic civilizations nor the Vedas written, which was done much later, just as the Puranas and other literature records. Yeah, exactly. And if you want to know more about these things, you gotta research some of these videos, because you'll learn about from archaeologists and language scholars and Sanskrit scholars and sociologists and all of these people who know what they're talking about. People that have studied, and they study this stuff for a living, and they know. And you can get this information. You don't have to just listen to Prabhupada. They were the enemies of Vedic civilization. Aryans. Yeah, I mean, you want to learn about the Aryans and where they came from and where they settled and what they were doing. And, it gives you it kind of fills in the blanks and gives you a picture of what Prabhupada's talking about. But it gives you like the truth. It gives you like the facts, and all that cartoon shit is just blown away, and you can actually see the real deal, the reality of what's going on. Because there was something going on. Something was going on in India way back 5,000 years ago, but it wasn't what Prabhupada says. There was no Krishna running around and all of these, and Arjuna and a big... but there was stuff going on. So if you're interested to know, go on and do some research. You do your own research and find out about that stuff. It's really interesting stuff. At least for me it is. I find it interesting. I find that stuff interesting. I've always been a history buff. So that's it for today as far as Rupa Manjari and Tattva Darshan and Madhu Pandit and these guys, these Rtviks protecting these child molesters just like ISKCON does. These guys that want to tell you that they're protecting women and they're protecting children. They're out there, we're doing all this, doing all that, and they ain't doing nothing. There's a bunch of bullshit, just like everybody else. And if you really want to know the story about Rupa Manjari and her abuse and what's happened, it's really the story of ISKCON and how they treat women, their views of women, Prabhupada's views of women, what the Vedic scriptures say about women. That's where it's all coming from. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for watching today, for joining in. Everybody here, Nurtas, 4685, and Eliana, and Fake Human, and Dahlia, and everybody. I can't even remember. Howard Johnson, and who else? Who else stopped by today? User N. Thanks for coming in, watching on the replay. Absolutely. So yeah. And Gyana Shama started around 5471. Yeah. Thanks you two, and Travis and Jeff Smith and Kookie and Liam. Everybody, thanks for joining in. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you're watching on the replay. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Everybody, I'm having a blast doing these videos. I'll have another one for you as soon as possible. Thanks, everyone. Please have a great day, great night, great morning, great afternoon. Wherever you are, please stay out of a cult. Have some great luck and stay out of a cult. And, of course, to wrap it all up, we got Mike as a Hare Krishna a long, long time ago. Thanks, everybody.